Kamaljit Sandhu is joining us live from Anantnag in Jammu and Kashmir. Kamaljit, why don't you bring us up to speed with the latest developments, because there are many other areas where our security forces are trying to find terrorists as well. What's the situation in those areas too?
Well, if you can hear me, I'm at the encounter site. This is just a couple of kilometers from there. The media was removed from that side. But let me tell you, since 2 o'clock, there has been no firing. However, close to where we are standing right now, we heard 2 rounds of fire. And it seems that somebody is hurt. We don't know if it's an accidental fire. But then positions are being taken and an ambulance is being called in. Now, let me just tell you, as far as the encounter is concerned, it's day 5. Since 2 o'clock, there has been no firing. But earlier in the day, we heard heavy rounds of fire and bombardment. Now, very clearly, the security forces have caved in, have closed in on that encounter site and also on that hideout. And obviously, there seems to be some flurry of activity out here because we are now waiting for the ambulance. But yes, as far as the entire incident is concerned, as I mentioned to you, it's day 5. And clearly, there seems to be a lot of pressure as far as security forces are concerned. Now, remember, we have lost 3 officers and 1 Jawan. The bodies of 2, the one including a soldier and one of a terrorist, is yet to be recovered. So a formal announcement of closing in of the encounter is yet to be made. Official announcement regarding the soldier's death and that of the death of a terrorist or killing of a terrorist is not yet done. So at this point of time, it's an ongoing situation. Meanwhile, the Gordon is pretty far away as far as the media is concerned. But yes, it's already entered day 5. Remember, this is, if you can call, the Lakshman Rekha, and this is where the media has been stopped and we see vehicles out here. But very clearly, when it comes to a live situation, the security forces know that this is Pir Paranjal Ranges, and let me tell you, these are very, very difficult cliffs, and this is where there could be innumerable hideouts as far as terrorists are concerned, natural cave-like structures. Some of them may actually have a sort of a mini tunnel in which the terrorists could have gone inside, and that is why those precision strikes, that is why the drones have been used, whether it's surveillance drones or the weaponized drones. We also saw the RPG, the mortar shells. So heavy bombardment being done also to ensure that the terrorists are flushed out. The other part is obviously about how that entire area near the cave has now been burnt, and now it's started really pouring down. But we'll just try and get you a sense as to what is really happening out here. But very clearly, the situation in Kokarnag, at this point of time, everybody is awaiting a word. We've been told that after 2 o'clock, there were parties. We'll just try and get you a sense from the motorcycle as to what really happened. But clearly, there seems to be a situation because we heard 2 sounds and that did appear like firing. We will have an official confirmation in some time from now from the security personnel, because somebody came running in saying they are looking for an ambulance. So we're waiting a final official word. But as far as the encounter itself is concerned, this is where it's already entered day 5, and only after the entire search operation and combing operations are done will it officially be called off. And remember, to ensure that there's no further collateral or, for that matter, any sort of casualty, they've gone in slow. And after 2 o'clock, that is when the search parties have gone all inside to check the entire area to see whether the terrorists are actually eliminated, are flushed out. And yes, we see there is obviously movement, and reinforcements have been going in since morning. And till around 2 o'clock, as I mentioned to you, there were heavy bombardment, heavy firing, which was done. That is why we know that they were not taking any sort of chances, and it's been pouring since the afternoon. That also tends to have an impact on a live operation.
All right, what are you picking up as far as the Home Ministry is concerned and Northern Army Commander is concerned? What has been the review of the ongoing operation at the Anantnag gunfight site?
See, in the past few years, this is one of the biggest encounters which has happened in Kashmir Valley. We've seen how Pakistan has actually shifted focus as far as their agencies is concerned, terror organization is concerned. It has always been south of Pir Panjal, so it's been Rajouri and Poonch, and we've seen massive terror attacks taking place. But this one was actually based out of information which was received by Jammu Kashmir police, and that is when they actually launched an operation to flush out these terrorists. Uzair Khan, A++ category. Then we have Zubair, who's also a local. So both these have been there, and it's suspected that there could be foreign terrorists who could actually be holed up. And this is where they have actually been not in this entire region where it's the villagers who've been staying. They've been up in the hills. There's little support coming in as far as the terrorists are concerned. But that is also one of the key strategies where Pakistan seems to have pushed in these terrorists not to stay there, because there are ramifications. The overground workers over the time have been arrested, who have been picked up, sent out of Kashmir. So there has been a crackdown. But this obviously is an uphill task as far as security forces are concerned, because remember, after the network has been curtailed, they have a little support system. So whether it is ration, whether it is arms, ammunition, they're actually heavily relying either on the incoming drones or from other material or through other workers. That network now is facing a huge sort of a challenge, and that is why they have moved off the cliffs and the hills. But meanwhile, they have been there, and this is a Lashkar area. We've seen an attack happening just about last year. So all this been part of the measure. But clearly, when it comes to this entire area, this is where we will await a final word as to when the operation is actually over.
All right. Thank you, Kamaljeet, for joining us with those details right there.